This is an article on CNN.com. After Trump's win, some women are considering the 4B movement. If you're not familiar with the 4B movement, it's basically 4B words that started in South Korea. So I'll scroll down here. I'm not going to say the words, but they translate to no marriage, no childbirth, no dating, and no sex with men. And if I scroll up to how CNN explains this movement now in the United States, it says, in the hours and days since it became clear that Donald Trump would be reelected president of the United States, there's been a surge of interest in the US for 4B. All right, let's click on what this hyperlink is, okay, and see what this is. There they have a Google trend for 4B, okay, and this is what they show it. Okay, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what these numbers stand for, but it just says 2, and then it goes up to 100. Is that a lot? I don't know. I'm trying to understand. Okay, search of interest 69, 68, 66. Is that 66,000? Is that 66 million, or is that just 66? Because I'm not sure I would define that as a search. But anyway, that's the first part that I think is really funny, because I can't really get to the bottom of that. Anyway, so there's like, it went from like 100 people search for it, from down from 2, or up from 2. Or maybe I'm reading it wrong. Maybe that's a million. Somebody can tell me in the comment section. I mean, I don't know. Somebody help me. Am I reading the graph wrong? Okay, so I'm not sure I'd call that a surge, but it says young liberal women across TikTok and Instagram are discussing and sharing information about the South Korean feminist movement, in which straight women refuse to marry, have children, date, or have sex with men. I thought straight was a bad word nowadays. I thought you weren't allowed to say straight. That's another thing I find funny. I thought you had to say hetero or cis or something or whatever, but I didn't think you could say straight, because I thought that that's derogatory towards, saying the other people are crooked. Okay, moving on. These women say they are enraged and fed up after a majority of their male counterparts voted for a candidate who is found liable for sexual abuse, and whose appointment of 3 conservative Supreme Court justices led to the overturning of national abortion right protections. And they say they're swearing off men, and they're encouraging others around the country to join them. Ashley Pollard, they have quoted here, "We have pandered and begged for men's safety and done all the things that we were supposed to do, and they still hate us. So if you're going to hate us, then we're going to do what we want." Which makes me then ask the next question, which is, you weren't doing what you wanted before? I mean, were you only doing things you thought men would like for a particular reason? And you weren't, I thought you were a feminist. I thought you were always doing what you wanted. I'm so confused. I've got to tell you guys, the 4B movement coverage has me very confused. Maybe because it's just is not really my world. And if I had some more context here, I would understand it. All right, we talked about the background. Now, they interviewed this professor in gender studies at the University of California, Professor Han. And Professor Han, basically says that it's not a very widespread movement, but the sentiments behind it, I think a lot of people empathize with. There is such widespread violence against women, and when there's such systemic discrimination and inequality, when there's so much that make marriage, childbirth, and child rearing difficult, why and how could anyone imagine getting married and giving birth? That is the most ridiculous statement I think I have read in a long time. So basically, it's just like, marriage and childbirth and child rearing is so terrible. And I don't know, I actually was just talking to my doctor a few months ago, and he has a lot of patients, women who are mothers of young children, who have maybe a nutritional deficiency or something related to stress, because there is stress, obviously. When you're not getting a lot of sleep, you got a new baby, and this puts stress on the body. But he told everybody who he's seen, really, that it comes in with an issue that's related to, like, oh, I'm not getting a lot of sleep, or having, to just, make sure just to get the very basics done. And I can't, necessarily go get a massage or do the things I used to like to do, get a manicure. And, he says, like, look, in the short term, it's difficult, but long term, moms actually live a lot longer. especially moms of multiple children, actually live longer. And I don't know, somebody find the statistic on that. But the whole idea that, yeah, I mean, that just marriage and childbirth and child rearing is such drudgery. I'm so over this because I'm a stay-at-home mom who does this podcast, and being a mom has been the most amazing, wonderful, best thing I have ever done. And I'm so glad and so fortunate that I get to do this. You know, I could go make a lot more money if I went back to a 9 to 5. I don't know who's going to hire me anymore after this podcast, but uh but I would never do it because the value of being the mom is so great. And I just think it's so unfortunate. And this is the same sentiment that I think I used to hear when I went to protests about abortion. And I still hear, but I heard it in person back when I was a reporter, is, you know, basically like having an abortion so that you can go have your real life back. You know, you can have your real life back. And I know I'm kind of going on a rant that has nothing to do with Donald Trump right now, but this, you know, this idea, I just, I just feel really, I don't know. It's just so unfortunate that this messaging that you are not free, you know, you're not free to be who you are or something. Uh, if you're a mom, I just think it's so unfortunate that women are really buying into this. So then they say it's far too early to tell whether the 4B movement might seriously catch on in the US. But so far, at least, it's generated a lot of online discussion among young women. I think in part because the media is driving it. And that's a question I kind of have about all this too, is that, you know, look, okay, yeah, I'm talking about it, so I can't, I guess, make fun of CNN. I'm trying to talk about the coverage of the 4B movement. But I think the media is picking up on this because it's like a very clickable topic. And I'm going to show you a video I think is kind of funny. I mean, I think the CNN coverage is kind of funny, but I'm looking at it more like, I'm not really sure I'm buying that this is actually a thing. I just don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but you guys tell me. If you want to join the Allison Wine Club, which is a thing, and you don't have to swear off getting married or having kids or anything to be in the Allison Wine Club, you can go to AllisonWinePromo.com. We've already got lots of people that have joined the club. They get updates on the wines that they receive. Three months, you get 6 bottles. Okay, so every 3 months you get a new shipment. You get 6 bottles of wine. They're all hand selected for the stuff that I like: clean, natural fermentation styles, old world winemaking techniques, many generation vineyards, hand-picked grapes, parts of the country, of countries of the world where there are very little pesticides used because they're very, very remote. Some of these wines come from between 6,000 and 9,000 feet. Well, the grapes do. The grapes are grown between 6,000 and 9,000 feet. One guy said he thought I was saying 69,000 feet. No, 6 to 9,000 feet. I know it's not 69,000 feet. All right, AllisonWinePromo.com. Go join it. You'll always have a gift. You'll have something for the holidays. Make sure you're drinking something good at Thanksgiving. Don't show up with $2 Chuck. All right, AllisonWinePromo.com. So let me show you what The Hill has to say about all this. This was what Bill selected. Bill's not here, but oh, you know what? I have to show it with the audio. So hang on one second. This is what Bill selected. Sorry, Bill's not here to opine. I'm sure he would have something very hilarious to say. Okay, I will just say first about The Hill, you know, they have been through a lot of changes as they have fired people over Israel commentary and other issues, and other people have left, like Kim Iverson. And I'm starting to look at the screen and like the camera angles and the quality of it, and I'm kind of thinking they're not making a whole lot of money at The Hill anymore. It's looking a little bit low budget to me. I don't know what you guys think, and I can't confirm or deny anything about it, but it's looking a little more low budget. And I just kind of wonder what's happening financially. All right, let me know if you can't hear it.
Let's be real. Gen Z is already not having sex. So much of Gen Z has been like sitting in front of their phones, not knowing how to communicate with people, can't get off their apps and go into meet people in real life.
It's because video games and pornography have become too good. That's honestly
No, that's true. I mean, and there's a blow-up doll, like a rise in buying sex dolls, also from Korea.
I mean, they're just better. They're just, so people used to have a lot of sex because there wasn't a lot else to do during your day.
Did you just say?
Wait, what, Robbie? Okay, she's going to freak out about blow-up dolls, but he's like, people used to have a lot of sex because there was nothing else to do during the day. I'm sorry. When did it exist? I don't even know where to start here. Okay, we farm. All right. A lot of you guys know that like we're amateur farmers here right now. We've got chickens and goats and cows. And back in the day when you didn't have a cell phone or a technology job or a job anchoring a newscast on a website, there was a lot to do actually to produce your food. And he's like saying there's nothing to do, and that's why a lot of people had sex. I don't understand this. What's Robbie talking about? Has Robbie ever? I need to see his hands. I need to see if there's calluses on his hands. Let's keep watching.
The blowups are also just better.
Well, there are more ways, not just on sex, but there's just more ways for people to spend their time now.
Yeah.
This is true for media stuff too. Like the newspaper used to be really boring because, well, what else are you going to read?
I truly do not understand what he's talking about here. There's so much to do nowadays that I think people are bored out of their minds. I think one of the reasons why you even have a 4B movement and people are even talking about not being a mom and having kids is because they have no real lives. They literally do not know what it is like to produce something that they can use, that they can see, from beginning to end. They're swept up in this information war where they think they're going to choose a side and get to the bottom of it and have lost any interest or concern in like life's very basics and the joy of just watching creation. Frankly, I'm like, Robbie, I think it's time to get outdoors. I think it's time to get outside, Robbie.
There's nothing else you would pick it up because how else do you spend your time? Now, this device, your phone.
How else do you spend your time besides reading the paper? What is this? What? Somebody help me.
Knows exactly what you want to see and read and watch at all times and is very algorithmically, technologically well tailored to delivering you content that you like more. So there's, the day is still only 24 hours long. There's still only so much time to engage with content we like. So the content has to be really a lot better. And so that's true for pornography. It's a thing people on the right talk about pornography as a negative influence. And I certainly think, and I know I've heard from parents dealing with.
He's talking about how he's heard about it. He's heard about pornography being a problem. But I'm still confused. I guess if all you did in life is just consume content, then yes, there's more content to be consumed nowadays on the internet if you're consuming content that like somebody else produced, if we're talking about movies, watching a screen. But actually life was way busier back when you had to feed yourself or participate in a local economy because you didn't have Amazon. I don't understand this. I'll just like quick disclaimer to everybody watching this right now. If you're somebody who is bored, you can come help us on our farm. We will take your help. But I also think it might mean that you're spending too much time inside and it's time to like get into woodworking or learning how to shoot a bow and arrow or dance or learning an instrument or building an instrument or having a garden, anything. But anyway, that's just me. So you can send me some mail. I got one more video to show you. Send me some mail. P.O. Box 3355, Denellen, Florida 34432. Some people have told me that the zip code is 34430. When I Google the address of my post office, it's 32, but it will get to me either way. So send me whatever, and not whatever, okay? Nothing creepy, nothing edible. Seeds are great. I get some seeds from people every once in a while. Seeds that will grow in my garden here in Florida. Books about gardening I've gotten. I got wine glasses somebody hand painted with chickens on them. That was awesome. People send stuff for the producers. And the producers, 4 and 2 years old, they do open the mail on the way home. So I do appreciate it if it is kid friendly. Thank you to everybody who supports that way. You can also support the show at AllisonMorrow.locals.com, where we have the live chat going on right now. AllisonMorrow.locals.com, $5 a month to go one-on-one with the most censored people on the internet. And actually, Grumpy Old Man said that Peter the goat, our goat, is against this movement. And that's true. Our goat would not be happy if his harem said no after the Trump election. And we wouldn't either because we need babies because we're looking for some goat milk.